Still there? Yes.
Okay, you're on the air.
Good evening. This is a meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow. We are obviously meeting via teleconference, which is something that we and all other municipalities in the state are allowed to do through the governor's special order, emergency order, which was issued more than a year ago due to the pandemic. What I'm going to do as we start a meeting is call the roll to make sure that we have a quorum. I'll begin with Trustee Andrus.
Present.
Trustee Rodriguez.
Present.
Trustee Gebler.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Scaglione.
Here.
Trustee Gonzalez. And we have a quorum and we may begin. We will begin our meetings as we always do with the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please rise with me as we recite the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I guess we didn't really do that in unison, but also it's our custom to remember those members of our community who have passed since our last meeting. And since our last meeting, we lost Grace Lowney at the age of 89 of Kendall Way. And our thoughts are with her family and her friends and her neighbors up there at Kendall. Thank you. We have a fairly extensive agenda this evening. We'll begin with the minutes. The minutes of April 13th, 20th, and May 4th were distributed earlier to members of the board. We'll start with the minutes of April 13th. Are there any amendments or changes that need to be made to the minutes? If so, please make them known now.
Move adoption of the minutes of April 13th, 2021.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say or indicate aye.
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 Opposed, abstentions? Resolution, the minutes are approved. Got the minutes of April 20th. Any changes needed there?
Motion to approve the minutes of April 20th, 2021.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say or indicate aye.
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 Opposed or abstentions? And the minutes are approved. And we have the minutes of May 4th. Any amendments, changes there?
No.
Adoption
Move to
of the
approve. Oh, go ahead.
Seconded. Seconded.
Moved by Trustee Andrews, seconded by Deputy Mayor Scaglione. Any discussion?
No.
All in favor say or indicate aye.
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 Opposed or abstentions? There are none, and the minutes are approved. Thank you all. We'll move on to announcements. I have a few.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I know we
Oh,
have
you
an
want to
extensive agenda,
approve the
but would you like to approve my warrant for me, please?
Not really. So maybe in a couple of, all right.
You forgot about me.
Oh, he's frozen.
Village has had since our last meeting, or that we're, at least those that we're making payments on. There is a warrant that was
He really
distributed.
doesn't want to pass the warrant.
Don't interrupt me when I'm interrupting you. The warrant is in the amount of $365,326.32, and it was distributed to the members of the board earlier. Does anyone have any questions on the warrant itself? And if so, please direct them to the treasurer.
No questions.
Motion to approve the warrant.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye or indicate
Aye.
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 Opposed or abstentions? And the warrant is approved.
Thank you so much.
Yes. My apologies for skipping ahead. A few announcements. One, I just wanted to thank everybody on the village staff who was involved in Sunday's opening of the Gold Star Mothers Memorial, the monument at Horan's Landing. It was a really beautiful event. I want to thank folks from DPW for all the work that they put in. I thought it really looked great. I also want to single out a couple of members of our fire department, Anthony Aguirre and Manny Rosario, who were part of the color guard, or were the color guard for the event, and I think stood at attention for the entire 2 hours of the event. So it was the proper respect, given that it's a memorial, but I just really want to thank them. That their service did not go unnoticed. And anybody who hasn't had a chance to get down there, you should go take a look. It's pretty nice, and just a beautiful spot there on the river in Horan's Landing. This Saturday, the Rivertown Runners Half Marathon will begin. It'll start at 9:30 on Beekman Avenue, Lower Beekman near Andrews. So watch for folks when you're driving. We're going to try to keep the roads open as much as we can and still be safe for the runners, but please keep an eye out for folks. And the race is already filled up. Registration is closed. If you need any further information about it, want to look into something in the future, you can reach out to Rivertown Runners at rivertownrunners.org for that. So look forward to that happening this weekend as well. Again, hopefully another move towards back towards whatever the new normal is going to be. Also wanted to note that our Police Reform and Reinvention Collaborative will be reorganizing itself and beginning its meetings again this Thursday evening at 6 o'clock. You'll recall that when we passed the plan several weeks ago, the plan was to continue the collaborative, continue the work of the collaborative through the remainder of this year, and we'll be starting that up again this Thursday. If you'd like to join in as an observer, please check the village website. You can join on Zoom. Also wanted to give a few moments to Trustee Andrus and an announcement for what's happening this week that follows right in line with the announcement that I just made. Trustee Andrus?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. That's right. In the vein of saying thank you to service members in our community by a proclamation of the president, this week, which started Sunday, is known as National Police Week. And this Saturday, May 15th, is known as Peace Officers Memorial Day. And so I'd like to encourage the board and any residents who are listening and watching to take a moment this week to say thank you to our hardworking law enforcement officers. And I'll start by saying thank you to Chief Buetti and the department for all of their service.
Thank you, Trustee Andrus. Okay, we're going to move on, if it's okay with Ms. DiGiacomo. to reports. And we have one this evening, and that is from our own Matt Arone and the Rec Department report. Matt, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the board. I notice I'm the only department head reporting today. I have a feeling you guys are realizing how long my reports are, so you gave everybody else a break.
Got that hint, huh, Matt?
It took me 3 years, but I finally got that hint. So, but I'm not going to do you much help on this one because I didn't report back last month. So we've been very busy since the last report. Since we met last, we've done a lot of recreation programs. We ran a sports camp for the kids during the school break at Barnhart Park in late March and early April. Our T-ball clinics started at DeVries Park back on April 17th, which was great because, as you know, we didn't hold our youth baseball programs last year. Youth soccer clinics at Kingsland began on Friday, April 23rd. We held a very successful spring egg hunt, which also we weren't able to run last year, down to Kingsland Point Park on April 3rd. And we had 3 different time slots, and all the time slots filled up. We had over 300 kids participating throughout the day, and everybody went home with plenty of candy and a picture with the bunny. Our outdoor yoga classes for adults began on Saturday, April 10th in the mornings down at Horan's Landing. And an Earth Day event was held at Barnhart Park on Saturday, April 24th, where birdhouses were made out of recycled plastic signs, and individual take-home plantings of flowers and vegetables were done by all the participants. And I want to give a special thanks to Trustees Gebler and Rodriguez and also Diana Loha for participating in that event. It was a great day. Some upcoming events. We have our annual father-daughter dance down at Kingsland Point Park on June 5th. And that's at 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock for kids in grade K through 5. That's $20 per couple or $5 for each additional child. Registration has begun for our outdoor Grit Ninja Warrior program, which will be held at Barnhart Park. That's a program that we discovered last year during the pandemic when we couldn't run our summer camps. That's going to be at Barnhart Park from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock for 5 days, starting June 28th, the week of June 28th. Instead of running the teen travel camp this summer, we're going to downsize and run special day trips for the kids, the same age group. The county's health department has put many restrictions on travel camp programs due to the pandemic, which has made it virtually impossible to run the program as we used to. So we're going to do some trips closer to home and have less numbers than we normally would and still cater to the same age group. So we're working on a trip schedule now for July and August, and we're going to have more information for the kids before they're dismissed from school. Horan's Landing will have a lot of music this summer. We have 4 concerts booked, and I'm also working with Anna Mayor to have a concert at Barnhart Park on July 22nd. So there'll be a lot of musical events this summer. As far as senior citizens, they're starting to come back to the senior center, which is great. They held their first club meeting last week in the building, and that's their first meeting they've held since February of 2020. We also held a small ceramics class on April 8th with 14 seniors. And we're still doing our exercise classes on Mondays and Wednesdays and our walking group on Fridays. We have a senior yoga class instructed by gym guys on Thursdays. And we're still delivering our lunches every day. That we've never stopped that program through the whole pandemic. Our after school program is still ongoing, and we did pick up a few new participants in the last month as parents are starting to feel more comfortable with having their kids join programs again. Some park items. The park's been very busy the last few weeks as the weather is getting better. The parks crew has worked hard working on Kingsland Point Park. DeVries Park has TNT baseball and softball, the school sports, travel sports, and men's softball on the fields. And we also have an extra seasonal worker in the parks for a 4-month period, which has helped us out tremendously. Some progress has been made with the propane company to connect the propane tank to the heating units at the platform tennis courts. New England Propane finally laid the propane lines out to the courts in the trench, and our Parks Department backfilled the trench on the ball field so the kids are able to use it. And the next step is actually digging and placing the propane tank underground outside the ball field and near the parking lot. And we're going to dig and put that tank in once the ground isn't so saturated with water. So we're probably going to wait till it gets a little bit warmer out, maybe in June. We need some temperatures where it dries that water table out a little bit. An old underground gasoline tank near the KD Pavilion in Kingsland Park has been removed. This tank has been empty, but it has been buried in the park for several years. And the county and the village worked together to have it removed for safety reasons. We are currently working on the improvements to the spray park surfacing and new equipment at Barnhart Park. As you know, the surfacing and spray features are old and need to be replaced. In Westchester County, I mentioned last meeting, reached out to us to help with a volunteer program at Kingston Point Park called the Green Squad. It's where community organizations commit to weekly cleanups in a specific park from April to November. So we have the ARC of Westchester volunteering at Kingston Point Park once a week. I've checked in on them a couple times, and they pick up litter around the park for an hour or two, and they're going to do that all the way through November. So that's a welcome volunteer service. Some miscellaneous items. I want to thank Diana Loha for her hard work in organizing the May 1st community cleanup event through the village. It was definitely the best attended community cleanup since I've been here, and it was a great day. A fun announcement. On May 3rd, the staff from 914 Dental in Tarrytown helped us volunteer paint the teeth structures at the Kingston Point Park playground. The village purchased the paint, and the dental staff volunteered and brought the brushes, and together, I'm happy to say the teeth have been cleaned. Thankfully, there were no cavities, it was reported. So I want to thank Dr. Rishi Kohari and his entire staff for reaching out to us with that cool project and helping us paint the teeth. I want to thank Senator Pete Harcum for organizing a blood drive at the Senior Center this past Saturday. I didn't get a report on how many participants attended yet. So I can't tell you how busy it was, but I know they got a pint of my blood that day. So at least I know there was a couple people down there. As the mayor mentioned, congratulations to everybody who was involved in the Gold Star Mother Statue project this past Sunday. There are so many people to thank, but obviously Chick gets the biggest accolades for spearheading everything. And also want to thank Earl Tompkins from the DPW for stepping up and giving so much attention to the project. Just a reminder, since we're still discouraging large group of people to come down to the Senior Center for register for programs, people should be signing up and registering for our Community Pass online registration program. So go to communitypass.net, look for Sleepy Hollow, New York, get yourself an account, and you can register for all our programs online through your phone or your computer, so you don't have to come down in person for your convenience. And one final reminder that the Senior Citizen Bus goes shopping every Wednesday morning. So if any senior citizen is in need of transportation to get groceries or any other items, please call us at 366-5109 on Mondays or Tuesdays so we can arrange to get you a ride on Wednesdays. So that's my report for this month. If anybody has any questions or comments, I'd be happy to help.
Any questions for Mr. Roan?
No,
All right,
great
great.
job, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Matt.
No problem. Have a good evening.
Thank you. We appreciate your work. Okay, before we move on to public comments, I just wanted to also announce that I'm pulling Resolution 1 from the agenda for this evening on declaring lead agency status for the village. I think we need to do a little bit more work on that before we're ready to take that step. And I look forward to discussing that further with the board in the coming days ahead. So we'll move on to public comments. Mr. Giacchio, does anyone wish to address the board?
Yes, Ann White would like to speak.
Okay, Ms. White, you're up. Please be reminded that you have 3 minutes.
Yes, thank you. I always love hearing Matt Arone's reports because you do so much. And I love hearing about all the different groups that are stepping up and participating together, because this is what makes this village so special. One of the things that there's a small committee working on is getting people down to the wishing wall again now that the weather is getting good. And so we're sponsoring a photo contest, and you'll begin to see the posters up in store windows. There's a QR code on that for people to submit their photographs of people interacting, having fun down by the wall, interacting with it. So we encourage you to spread the word on that. There are emails going out, and we are doing everything to spread the word, but it's good to have the board on board with that. The posters are in Spanish and English. I had the pleasure of walking with Deanna Loha going into the stores, and it took much more time than we thought because she's always having conversations with them. And one of the parts of the photo contest is that we plan to choose 50 photographs and show them in store windows on Beekman and Cortland and Valley, beginning in mid-July. And part of the purpose of that is to help get people back into those small businesses. They're open now, most of them, but the people are slow coming back to them. So anything that can be done to help them get back with customers coming in again. And one final word, if I still have time, is just to say, I was thrilled to hear Kirsten Harry's presentation about making sure we get some crosswalks marked this summer. I look forward to the development of that project and seeing it go forward.
Thank you, Ms. White. Mr. Giacchio, anyone else wish to address the board?
No other comments at this time?
All right, we'll move on to resolutions, and I'll remind people that, as always, we have another opportunity at the end of our meeting for you to address the board if you have any thoughts then.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, somebody just raised their hand if you want to let them speak.
Sure.
Elizabeth Tucker. She's on.
Ms. Tucker?
We'll get her
You're
later.
on. You're on.
There
Now you're on. It is.
she's on.
Seems like she might be having trouble with her audio.
Yeah, we're going to do this. Ms. Tucker, we will, if you can be patient, we'll come back to you after we finish our resolutions. Let's move on to our first resolution, which is now R2 regarding the ambulance corps building. If someone could read that resolution.
I
Sure,
can
Mayor,
read it,
oh.
or Tom.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. I was all geared up for it.
Okay, you do it.
All right, so this is resolution number 2, actually. Resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow to retain attorney for subdivision project. Whereas the village board is desirous of subdividing a village-owned property located at 29 Andrews Lane, and whereas Marks D. Palermo Attorneys at Law has submitted a draft retainer agreement to provide these services at a cost of $2,500. Whereas the village board has reviewed this agreement and has found it to be acceptable. Be it resolved, the Board of Trustees BOT hereby retains Marks D. Palermo attorneys at law to subdivide a village-owned property located at 29 Andrews Lane at a cost of $2,500 pursuant to the attached retainer agreement. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say or indicate aye.
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 Opposed or abstentions? Resolution's approved.
All right, I can do the next one. And since it's so much shorter, I feel like I'm ahead on that one in regards to Tom. So resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow authorizing the sale of surplus items. Be it resolved that the mayor and the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow hereby authorize the attached surplus items list to be sold to the highest bidder. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and I believe seconded by the deputy mayor. Mr. Smith, am I correct in thinking we don't actually have to read the list of items?
You are correct, although since your meetings are by Zoom, I would suggest that somebody just go through and read the description, the name of the item, not necessarily the numbers on them.
It's kind of only the VIN numbers that are there, right?
Well, no, there's several vehicles down below.
Maybe I don't have that.
I can read it if you need me to.
Well,
That's
we've got,
fine.
if we go through, all right, quickly, there's an F-550, there's an F-350, there's a 2001 F-350, a 1999.
Something.
No
that-
identification.
A garbage truck.
Thank you.
Ah.
The 1HTGGAM.
Mhm.
And a 2008 Explorer, a Tahoe that's gray, a Tahoe that's white, a Crown Vic that's black, a Leaf vacuum that is orange colored, and
I assume that's signs.
excuse me.
I assume that is signs.
Mm-hmm.
It's an
Yeah,
electronic.
custom signs, and then there's various parts, which we are not going to, we are going to recycle. Broken plows, an old spreader, old fire hydrants, parts of dump bodies, and so on. Mr. Smith, is that sufficient?
Yes, sir.
And I will note that anyone in the public who wants the actual complete list may obtain it at Village Hall or from Village Hall. Okay, any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say or indicate aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? The resolution's approved.
I can read the next one. Resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow approving a request from Rock Salvation Church. Be it resolved that the mayor and the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow approve a request made by the Rock of Salvation to hold the annual Rock the Block outreach event on Friday, August 27th, 2021, from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. at the Reverend Sykes Park. Be it further resolved, the Board of Trustees directs the Chief of Police to coordinate the public safety issues with the applicants if necessary. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye or indicate aye.
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 Opposed, abstentions? Resolution's approved.
I'll take the next one. Resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow to authorize retainer of Labor Council. Be it resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby retains Labor Council pursuant to the attached retainer agreement. So moved.
Seconded.
All right. Who seconded?
Jared.
All right. Trustee Rodriguez then, all right? So
We're
let the
just
record
so
show.
anxious to do these, right?
Yeah.
Got to get yourself in the minutes. We discussed this in our last meeting, and this is a retainer agreement with our current labor law firm, and is the first renewal we've had with them that involves an increase in their rates, and it amounts to about a 10% increase, is what we discussed in our last meeting, which is pretty fair considering the last time we set the rates with them was, I believe, in 2014. So quite a long time there. And I would just note that McCarthy Fingar should not get any ideas. So any discussion on the resolution? All in favor, stay or indicate aye.
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 Opposed, abstentions? Okay, it's approved. Next up,
I could do the next
Breeze
one.
Bridge. Great, go for it.
Yep. It's a resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow approving a proposal to inspect a pedestrian bridge. Whereas the engineering firm of Simpson, Gumpertz, and Hager has submitted a proposal to inspect the pedestrian bridge that connects DeVries Park and Kingsland Point Park, and whereas the proposed cost for this work is $9,000, and whereas the village board has reviewed the proposal and has found it to be acceptable, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees accept a proposal from Simpson, Gumpertz, and Hager to inspect the pedestrian bridge that connects DeVries Park and Kingsland Point Park at a cost of $9,000. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say or indicate aye.
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 Like there's any no's, abstentions? Okay, good. It's approved. Next up.
I'm happy to take resolution 7, resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow ratifying agreement with Local 456. Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby ratifies an agreement with Local 456, International Brotherhood of Teamsters, Chauffeurs, Warehousemen, and Helpers of America, resolving AAA case number 01-19-004-0202. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say or indicate aye.
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 Opposed, abstentions, and the resolution is approved.
I have a question for our council about the next resolution. Should we be using the employee number or the name in the second paragraph?
I believe the name is appropriate because
Okay.
once the resolution is passed, it's public information, it's public knowledge.
Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure first. All right, I'll read that one. Resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow approving agreement with village employee. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby ratifies an agreement with employee number 1009, and be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby accepts the resignation for retirement purposes of Richard Gross, effective at the close of business on June 30th, 2021. So moved.
And
Seconded.
that's a second by Trustee Andrus. Any discussion? All in favor, say or indicate aye.
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 Opposed or abstentions? And the resolution's approved. And we have one more. Resolution.
I'll take it.
Thank you.
Resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow approving membership into the International Council for Local Environmental Initiatives. Whereas the Climate Smart Committee has recommended that the village become a member of the International Council for Local Environment Initiatives, ICLEI. And how do you say that? ICLEI? Is that the pronunciation of that? And whereas ICLEI is an international non-governmental organization that promotes sustainable development and provides technical consulting to local governments to meet sustainability objectives. And whereas the cost of the 4-year membership to join ICLEI is $1,950. And whereas the village board has reviewed this recommendation and has found it to be acceptable, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees accepts the Climate Smart Committee recommendation to join the International Council for Local Environmental Initiatives for 4 years at a total cost of $1,950. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, I believe, right, Trustee Rodriguez? Okay.
Yep.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye or indicate aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? And the resolution is approved, and that concludes our resolutions for the evening. We will move on to old business and new business. In the meantime, I just want to note that Elizabeth Tucker, who was trying to get on earlier, was raising a question about the status of the crosswalk at Lawrence Avenue and Route 9. We will get back to you after this meeting. Not this evening, sorry, but we will be getting back to you. Mr. Giaccio will be responding to you directly. If you could reach out to him and give him the best way of getting hold of you, that would be terrific. Okay? You know, phone or an email or so on. You can reach Mr. Giaccio as well at 914-366-9105. Okay, 366.
5105.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I screwed up the numbers. I said them in the wrong order. 5105. Or I didn't say them right or whatever, but I've been corrected. Thank you, Ms. McCarthy.
Sorry. You're welcome.
Hopefully you got that, Ms. Tucker. Paula, 510. Yeah. Paula, say the number again.
366-5105.
Yes, Ms. Tucker, that's correct. 5105.
Yeah, it's in the chat.
Yes, I see that. And I'll refrain from giving any personal information out again. Okay, so or at least tonight. Any old business or new business? Continuing business, as I said, in pulling the resolution on the zoning amendments, I'd like to continue that discussion with members of the board and intend to at least talk about that in the next work session. Any new business while you're thinking about that? Ms. McCarthy Tompkins, we got any communications? I know we did get, at least you forwarded a communication from a Mary Van Humison who was weighing in on some recommendations for zoning changes in our downtown, I believe in our downtown, largely around requiring spaces for bicycles, bike stands, and similar kinds of things. And that email has been circulated to the rest of the board. Are there any other communications?
Not receive any other communications.
Okay. If there's no new business or anything else, we'll move on to public comments. If you wish to address the board, you may do so now. Mr. Giaccio, do we have anyone who wishes to address the board?
No comments.
That's not from you. That's that there's no comments from the public. Nobody wants to
No
address.
comments from me or the general public. At least
Okay, Then I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
All right, take
Seconded.
that as a second, Mr. Andrus. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Good night.
Do
Thank you,
well.
Night.
everybody.
Night.
Night, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Night.
Night.